Hi fam, it is now Sunday, March 15th? March 15th. That's right. Okay, it's Sunday, it's March 15th. I ordered a Nintendo Switch and it's supposed to be here today, but it says delivery by 10 p.m. and that makes me think it's not gonna be here by today. Like, it was supposed to be one day shipping. Like, where is it? I really want to, I'm like the rest of the world. I want to play Pokepia. Okay, so I bought a Switch. I have the first Switch, but I am selling that to my coworker because she wants one for her grandson. And I also found a $100 gift card. And so I'm like, basically, this Nintendo Switch 2 is now half off, okay? So I just want to play that so bad, and I'm impatiently waiting for it to arrive. So I'll update you later if it actually shows up. But I did start another book today, because today is the last day of the Gala of Peace, which is a 48-hour readathon, and you get like extra points for reading during this time. So I am listening to Kelowna's Fall, which is one of the novellas in the House of Night series by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. And I think that's, I think that's the only one I haven't read, but I haven't read the spin-off series. House of Night was a time, okay? I was like in it deep when it first came out, and it was like everything to me. And I have reread the first book. I've read it at least 2 times, like reread it. And I'm like, this writing is just, it's not good, okay? And it's like, there's so many problematic things about this series, but my nostalgia is too deep. So when I am rereading them, I am giving them a lot lower ratings, but I still have like very fond memories of it, and like I'm having a good time. I actually decided to like reread and annotate my copies, because I went back and forth a lot on whether I wanted to get rid of the books, and just like I said, the nostalgia, it has a chokehold on me and I can't get rid of them. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna reread them and annotate them and just have a silly goofy time. And I haven't read the spin-off series, and like I said, Kelowna's Fall is, I think, the only novella I haven't read. So that's only like 4 hours, so I was like, this is perfect for the readathon. I'm about halfway through it right now, and I've never really liked Kelowna. I don't really like him. He's very like me, what I want. I don't care about anybody else. And that's basically what he is doing in this novella. So for like the first 40 minutes of it, he's not even there. It's like backstory on how he came to be. And basically Nyx was like Mother Earth's favorite goddess or something that like didn't leave her. And so to reward her, she wanted to give her a companion, and she ends up getting 2 companions. She gets Erebus and Kelowna. So Erebus is like gifted from the sun, and Kelowna was like gifted from the moon. And they're kind of competing. I'm not entirely sure what they're competing for, but like Mother Earth wants them to do like some trials for something. I don't know if it's to like be Nyx's mate or if she gets both of them. I'm a little confused on that. But Nyx definitely has a favoritism towards Kelowna, even if he disappoints her. And like I said, he's very what I want. I don't really care about what anybody else wants or needs. It's just what I want. So he's kind of obsessed with Nyx and doing whatever he can to like impress her, and it's just not working. But he still has some kind of chokehold on her. I'm about halfway through that, and I'll definitely be finishing that today, so I'll give you an update later. Back with another update. I just finished Kelowna's Fall, and I ended up giving that 2 stars. I don't like Kelowna. He's annoying. He's so whiny, and it's always about what he wants. He doesn't care about anybody else. So it was a little interesting seeing like Nyx's love for him and how she loved him, but he was too blinded by jealousy to realize that and thought that everything was a competition. But I'm going to be using this to add points to my team. So it's under 200 pages, so I don't get any page points. And there was a competition trial thing, I guess, between him and Erebus. So I guess I could count that. So 10 points for competition trials. Symbols in the title for 5 points. There is an apostrophe. Author's backlist for 2 points. It is a sequel, so we can get 1 point for that. 1 point for a book you didn't buy because I borrowed this from the library through Libby. So altogether, I think that was like 9 points, I believe. 9 points just from the regular prompts for Colona's Fall. 10 points for the reading it during the gala. And 10 points for competition and trial. I believe that was everything. So not too bad. That's what, 29 points. If I remember, if I added, as always, math. But if I remember everything, I think that's 29 points. But I think I'm going to try to at least get one more book in today. I either have a historical romance or a contemporary romance. So it just depends what mood I'm in. They're both about the same length. They're both 4 hours. Like, technically I could probably finish both today, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm really just going to focus on trying for one more. I don't know what my mood is, because my mood is just switch 2 and still looking for a delivery driver. Like, I should have just went and picked it up, but there was only like 3 available nearby. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. It's been a couple days since I did update last. I did end up getting my Switch 2. But of course, the power went out Sunday. So I didn't even get to play it. Yeah, I didn't even get to play it on Sunday because the power went out. And it didn't come back on till like 3:30 in the morning. But I did end up finishing a book. I finished Once Upon a Moonlit Night by Elizabeth Hoyt. And this is a part of a series that I haven't read before. But you can totally read it separate. Because to my knowledge, there was nothing that really like connected it to anything else. It felt like a whole story. Like, I was actually surprised how much she fit into this novella. But basically, our main character, Hippolyta, I believe that was how you say her name, she was kidnapped by this guy that she was supposed to marry. She didn't want to marry him. And she managed to get away from him. And basically, the whole plot was to kidnap her and keep her at his house to, like, force her hand into marriage, trying to, like, ruin her reputation by being like, oh, she's alone with this guy for so long. But she manages to get away, and she stumbles across our main male character, which I think his name was Matthew. Don't quote me on that. But she begs him for help, and he thinks she's, like, a little, like, street worker. But he does offer her a ride in his carriage, and he takes her to an inn. And he, like, plans to dump her there, and he leaves. But then he ends up regretting it and goes back just in time to save her yet again from a group of guys. Eventually, they come across her father, and he's like, you two were alone together, you two must now marry. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I felt like it packed a lot into it. It felt like a whole novel. It did not feel like a novella. You're so silly. I wish you guys could see her doing her little yoga poses down there. She always like stretches out her back leg, and I call it her yoga pose because it looks like she's doing yoga. But I thought that book was a lot of fun. And I gave it a 4 stars, and I actually read that during the Gala of Peace. So actually, I need my brochure to tell you guys the points. I don't even remember if I logged this for any points. I have like a group of books to talk about, so I'll have to look into them. But I did not get any points for page count because it was under 200 pages. I believe I used it to add XP. So, I'm pretty sure Elizabeth Hoyt's name is on there in 2 lines, so that's 4 points for that. Read an author's backlist for 2 points. A book with multiple POVs for, what was it, 2 points? 2 points. Read a sequel. It is a novella in a series, so I counted that for 1 point. And a fast-paced read for 1 point, because I felt like it moved along pretty fast, but it was like solid. It was a solid book. So I believe that's 10 points for Once Upon a Moonlit Night. And I think that was all I read during the Gala of Peace. So the next books I have to talk about are completely separate from that. The next book I have to talk about is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. I had this on audio, and so I decided to listen to that while I was driving around, because it's just a quick, easy listen. And I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I didn't think it was as much fun as Lights Out, but I still thought it was fun. I did like the characters, but I don't know, there's just something that like felt kind of missing or something, like not as fun. But basically, this is a story about Junior, who is Allie's cousin from the first book, and his father is like the cleaner for the mob, and Junior is expected to follow in his footsteps with his brothers, so they all help clean up messes, and he is kind of over that life and wants to break away from that. And during one of these jobs that happened recently, he sort of gets reconnected with this girl named Lauren that he had a moment with in high school, and he's actually kept tabs on her this entire time. Meanwhile, she hates him because of something that happened and embarrassed her, and she had to like change schools and stuff. Like I said, it was an easy listen, but the voyeurism did not really connect with me. It is not for me. But I did like how sex positive Lauren is. She's a cam girl, and she's working hard to like help get rights for sex workers and stuff. And they have a play club where you can explore your kinks and stuff. And I thought that was all very interesting. I just didn't particularly like reading about it, but I thought it was interesting. At the end, we do get like a glimpse kind of at the characters from the next book. So I'm curious about that. But let me see what I want to do with these points. Maybe I'll attack. I think attacking is actually better with this book. So I think I'm going to attack. And should we do the clerics? I feel like it's been a hot minute since I hit the clerics. So let's just attack the clerics. We're going to go with no the in the title for 4 points. Book outside your comfort zone for 2 points. I don't really read like dark romance. More pages than your last book. Yes, for 2 points. Read using electronics for 1 point. So that is 7 points, I believe. And I don't know how many pages this book is, but I'm gonna go with like 300. Let's say it's 300 something. So that would be 20 points. So we're gonna go with 20 points for page count. Oh, what's the next book I read? The next book I read was Point of Origin by Rebecca Yarros. This is a prequel to her Legacy series. It's a prequel novella. So the first book in the Legacy series is Reason to Believe, and I really enjoyed that one. It's like a firefighter romance, which I never read about firefighters before. So this one is like the 0.5 prequel. I think there was like 2 prequels. And this one is about Harper from the first book, her friend Emerson, and the guy that she was involved with, Bash. They were together in high school, and then they slept together, and he disappeared the next day. He comes back 6 years later to rebuild the hotshot firefighter crew in Legacy that their fathers were part of. Their fathers all died in a fire, and it was like dismantled after that. He wants to restore it and restart their legacy. And the town is kind of against it because of what happened, but they say if you can get like 60% of the descendants of the original Legacy crew to join, then they would reestablish it. So Emerson is upset when she first sees Bash, but that quickly changes. Like, once he touches her, she's just like, oh, well, let's just hop back into what we were before. And I felt like it went by really fast. And I would have liked to see more groveling, more of her being upset with him. And I just felt it was very quick. So, and there was also just a lot of sex scenes in this novella. I was like, not everything needed to be a sex scene. But I ended up giving this one 3 stars because it was okay. I did like seeing the origins of how the Hotshot crew got reestablished. But other than that, I would say it would be a skip for me if I hadn't read it. Points wise, once again, we're not going to get any points for page count because it was under 200 pages. All right, Second Chance. They did have a Second Chance romance for 4 points. Read an author's backlist for 2 points. Multiple POVs for 2 points. Fast-paced read for 1 point. And a book you didn't buy for 1 point. And that is it for the, books I've read update. I am still reading... Oh, no, wait. I'm a liar. Okay, I did read one more book. Oh, my God. I read one more book. I finally finished Inherit the Stars by Amy Ressa. And I said this is a Sailor Moon-inspired cosmic romantasy. It takes place in space. And basically, it's like if Sailor Moon, all took place on the Moon Kingdom in Silver Millennium. I ended up giving that one 3.75 stars. I did like it. I just wanted more from it. There were times where it just felt like the main character was going from person to person to get information, and I didn't quite like that. But I thought, the magic system was interesting. I thought the world was interesting. I just would have liked to see more of it. I also would have liked to see more of her addiction to her magic talked about a little bit more and explained, because I thought that was a very integral part to her character. And there were lots of love interests. I'm curious to see where that goes. She only gets with one, but there's potential. There's potential. So I'm curious if it'll be a monogamous kind of relationship, or maybe she'll go a little poly route. I don't know. But I am intrigued to see where it goes, because it does end on a cliffhanger, and it feels like there was a betrayal. And I don't know how I feel about it. But yeah, I finished that one too, so let's see what I can get for points for that. We are going to attack and see when I attack the clerics. Let's go back to the rogues, because then I think I've hit everybody up twice. Character has a hidden identity for 3 points. More pages than your last book for 2 points. Start a series for 1 point. Read using electronics. I read this as an ebook. And I do think it's a pretty book, so I'm going to count that for 1 point. Was that 8? I think that was 8 points. If I math. Page count. It was just under 400 pages, so that's 20 points for page count. But that is it for my read book updates. I surprisingly managed to finish quite a few. But I am still reading Shield of Sparrows. I started When the Moon Hatched this morning, thinking I was going to get to listen to it because I had to go get my car work done. But my mom wanted to come in my car, not take her car as well, but whatever, so I didn't do that. But I did start my buddy read with my friend Victoria, Freeing the Wild, while I was at my car appointment, and I got to chapter 4, I think. And basically, this is a contemporary romance set on a ranch. In this one, our main character is the character from book... Is it book 2? I don't know, it's one of the characters. It's Ivy's sister we're following in this book, and her sister is a musician. She mainly wants to just be a songwriter, but in order to do that, she has to actually perform her songs, so they're kind of trying to push her to be this singer. And as she's here at the ranch, she's trying to film stuff for her social media, And the love interest is named Hayden, and he works for the ranch. He is Wade's like secondhand man at the ranch, and they're supposed to have a romance, but I just got to where they met for the first time, and he thinks she's a spoiled princess and she thinks he's an annoying cowboy. But I am enjoying it. I'm not that far in, but I am liking this. Paisley Hope is kind of like hit or miss for me. Like I like her books, but sometimes like the sex scenes are just a little too much, a little too vulgar for me. But the romances I usually do like. The last one, okay, so this Ivy and Wade were book 2, because the last one was Ginger and Cole, and I loved that one. That one was so good. So I am curious to see how this one goes. Quick little update. I'm reading When the Moon Hatched, and I'm like 4 hours into it. It's a little confusing because there's like, I want to say there's a ton of POVs, but there are, because our main character is Rave, and then we've gotten a POV from some prince guy. We get little clips from a diary of like a princess, and then there was the other chapter. It's not that there's like too many POVs, it's that they just feel like they appear randomly. Like we were with Rave for like, I want to say like 13 chapters, and then all of a sudden we got the prince guy, and we only had him for like 1 chapter. So it feels a little odd. I just got to the part where she is imprisoned, which I guess she doesn't remember, so I don't know if like something took over her, and I believe the prince guy is going to meet her in the prison. So I'll keep you updated. Let's have a little chit chat patty whack as I rearrange stuff. Rave is in jail, and she met this little creature thing called Rook, and I love him. I would die for him. Yeah, so it's like this little creature thing called Rook, and I don't know if it's just the narrator's voice that they've given him, but he sounds so cute and I love him. And also, I was gonna say this earlier, in the synopsis it sounded like this was a possibility, but I didn't know. But when the prince, I guess he's the king, he's either the prince or the king, I don't know, he said something that may be like more likely for this to happen. I feel like the king, Khan, and Rave are like, some kind of fated mate situation. You know how people love the fated mates. Because he went on about loving someone that he lost, and then he ran into her and said she smelled familiar, and he just was at the jail again, and she was trying to like not look at him, and he like walked by and smelled her, and he like came back like, she's in here. So I'm leaning towards they're like some kind of fated mate situation, and she doesn't remember, but he does. But he doesn't know 100% that she's the girl. But those are my theories, and we'll see if anything comes true. But yeah, I'm liking it a little more now that they've like met. I just had bath time, but apparently it's bath time again. Yeah. I don't know where the heck the camera is pointing. Hopefully I'm like in the shot. I just wanted to talk about the reading updates. Oh look, I can see myself in the window. Okay, I am in the shot. Okay, so I wanted to talk about my reading updates. The book I'm going to talk about is actually sitting over on the table, and I'm not getting up to go get it. But When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I didn't really talk about what this is about. To be honest, I am a little confused on what it's about. But basically, our main character, Rave, is an assassin. And she's kind of, not necessarily an assassin by choice, but like basically somebody saved her, and she became an assassin, part of this guild or whatever. to like repay them, I guess. And it's kind of being held against her a little bit. Something to do with like her blood or something. I don't know. But the beginning of this book was very much like, oh, she's an assassin. Here is her doing assassin things. And then we kind of go to her home, and she kind of has like sort of a little sister called Essie, and something ends up happening to her. And then she sort of like ends up blacking out or something takes over her, and she ends up killing like 25 people, and she gets arrested. But like I said, she has no memory. I know, I taste good. She has no memory of any of this, and throughout we get like random little other POVs, which, like I said before, isn't my favorite. I don't really like the fact that these POVs are just like so random. I would much rather like have them more frequently if we're gonna have them. But we meet this King Khan, and he ends up meeting her. He meets her in the beginning, but she doesn't know who he is. But then she ends up meeting him again when she's in prison, and she realizes that he's the guy that she met earlier, like the tavern or whatever. And Sansa's looking at me and she's distracting. Anyways, she is like set to die in this prison. They're like going to. Oh, you got a little. You good? You good? You good? Do you need a little rub? Little rub? Little rub? Little puppy pile? No, I can't be. Okay. Let me finish talking, everybody. She's set to like die by like dragons, but she ends up getting like saved by Khan, and now she's like with him, sort of like a prisoner. But I don't know if I said this earlier, but I really feel like there's some like fated mate situation going on, because her scent is like very familiar. He said he has lost love, and he said her name, and we get like journal entries, diary entries from this character. And so I wonder if it's her. I don't know if she was like reborn, got a memory wipe, I don't know. But also, Rave has like these dreams and things, but like we don't really, I don't recall actually ever seeing any of her dreams really, especially like her night terrors. So I don't know if she's like reliving past experiences. But anyway, so I'm where she's his prisoner, kind of, and she just like ran away from him, and now he's like hunting her in the woods. I am enjoying it now that Rave and Khan are together. I like them and their chemistry together. Rave is going through it. Like, she got taken by Khan, she managed to get away from him, fell down a cliff, knocked herself unconscious, ended up in the river, somehow survived that, got saved by some people, then had the fate herder make her go with these people, and then they're like, oh my god, she's like our savior or something. And there was like some trial, but it was a trial to like be able to mate with her, and she was like, I didn't sign up for any of that. And so she was like, pulled a Merida and was like, I'm good, the fate's for my own hand. And like, she's on the brink of death now. Like, it's wild. I got some confirmation whether or not Rave was like a reincarnation or something, which I guess she's not, I don't know. But I'm interested to see like where it goes from here. I'm glad there was confirmation to help me figure out what's going on, but I'm very intrigued. Come here. I brought Sansa to say hi because she was already yelling at me. So, say hi. Say hi to the peoples. She's a little camera shy when she's on the camera. But behind the camera, she doesn't shut up. Okay, your little sister wants you, so go tussle. I'm here to give an update. So I made it to, I'm 5 minutes away from making it to chapter 55. So I'm like, I think it said 64%. Like, I've read quite a bit of this book. And I still stand by the fact that the beginning is slow. But once Rave and Khan meet up at the prison, I've been enjoying it. So my last update was like, she was basically almost like gonna die. And she lived, you know, obviously. She's the main character and all. And she's been taken now to Khan's palace or something, or somewhere with his like family and stuff. And they're all there, and I'm finding it very interesting. And I said something about my theory was kind of wrong. It was right, but it is wrong. So I'm intrigued how that's going to play out. There's stuff going on that some people know and some people don't. And I wonder how they're going to handle this. So far, they're like doing like a hands-off approach. But I wonder if someone's going to snap and just be like, dude, spill the beans. But I'm intrigued. Because we did get a little bit of information on my theory. But I am having fun with this. I'm probably going to listen to this. I am currently playing Pokepia and having such a great time. I haven't like done anything. All I've done is like water the grass. But that'd be a perfect thing to do while listening to more of this. So that's probably what I'm going to do. On the other hand, Free in the Wild, I tried to read last night. I tried to read, okay? I put on an ASMR video for deep sleep. My mistake. I think I read like one line, just passed right out. I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning with the lights on, and I was like, what's going on? And it was like 10:50 when I went to like go read, because I was like, oh, I'll read like one chapter, and then I'll turn the lights off, and then I'll just like read in bed with the Kindle. Didn't even make it that far. Probably should have just known. But those are my plans. Even in Pokepia, they're mean to Magikarp. He's just a floppy little fish. You didn't want to do this when I was trying to film you. Look at her. Look at her. Being so cute. Do I gotta look at you too? Come back here. Oh, you see my baby. My babies. Daisy. Yeah. I finished When the Moon Hatched today, and I think I'm going to give this a 4 stars. I think that's what I'm feeling. Y'all, There's a damn glossary in the beginning. And your girl really should have read it before starting the audiobook, because some of the stuff I had questions on, and it's literally answered. You! Oh my God. See, when I try to film her doing this, she won't give me nothing. She's yelling at me. Like, can you see this? I'm hoping you can see it. You're so sassy. You're so sassy. You are. You're a little sass pot. Daisy, entertain your sister. Anyway, so I finished this. I gave it 4 stars. I should have read the glossary, really, but this is different than what I expected. I think I was feeling it to be more of a like plot-based fantasy, and I really feel like this is a character-driven story. Like, it was very much focused on the characters. I still stand by, I don't think the beginning needs to be that long, and I still not crazy about the different POVs that like would randomly come in. I liked it more later. Later it felt like the POVs came a little more frequently and broke things up, whereas the beginning was mostly just rave, and then it would be like one random POV here, 15 more chapters of rave, one other POV here, here's another 8 chapters of rave. But I'm very intrigued with how this ended, and I want to know what happens. So let's do the points real quick. This book is 500 pages, so that is 40 points for page count. Author's name is 2 lines on the cover for 4 points. Read a book in a different format than your last book. I listened to this mostly, but also looked a little bit, but my last book was an ebook, so 2 points for that. Multiple POVs for 2 points, and that would be it. This did have a trial in it. Our main character kind of gets like taken as this like sacred being, and the guys are like fighting to mate with her, and she's like, what the hell? And then she's like, I want to fight for myself. So 10 points for trials. I'm gonna go with foiling on the cover for 10 points, because like, especially like the water down here is like foily. You can't tell from this angle, but from this angle facing me, it's a little shiny shine. So I'm gonna go with 10 points for foiling. Your girl doesn't want to add, so whatever the amount of points is, we'll be adding to our team. There's like 1.5 weeks left, and I'm still reading Shield of Sparrows and Freeing the Wild, which I'm going to be going back to Shield of Sparrows now that When the Moon Hatch is done, because that I was almost running out with my audiobook, so I put the other one on hold. So I'm definitely excited to get back into that one. But that is it for this vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.